Hey everybody, I'm trying this one more time. I've tried to make 5 videos and my husband even came in and tried to help me. Something weird is going on this page every time I try to do a video. So we're gonna see if it allows me to do the video. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so looks like it might be working. I reset the computer, so hopefully that fixed everything. So, some of the things that I want to talk about right now, there's a lot of people that have jumped on board with us doing this 12 servings of green a day, each 12 servings of green a day. And part of what we're doing is we're doing 6 servings of chopped raw greens like raw kale, raw spinach, raw arugula, those kind of raw greens, right? Here's the problem with that. Okay, it's good to get raw greens. It's good to get your greens, right? But for some people, eating certain raw greens, especially these ones that are known to have more fibrous insides and other things that go along with that, they can be really hard on some people, hard on their guts. Some people don't have the microbiome that it takes to kind of break down the enzymes and fibers and stuff that come with that kind of raw food. And so your other option is to saute it or steam it. And somebody else in our group saw a video where they said if you steam it, it takes out 35% of the oxalates, and if you saute it takes out 85%. It makes it more bioavailable for your gut, easier on you to eat it. So please feel free to try both of those things. And here's the nice thing about sauteing greens. I love to saute greens. We had those today. Is you can saute a huge pot of greens, like 10 servings, down to like nothing. And they're so easy to eat. And you would put your lemon juice on your greens after you saute or steam or however you're going to cook them. You put your lemon juice on after. You still got to use your lemon juice with them. And you still got to chop them before you saute or steam them. Okay? Remember that. Matter of fact, I would chop them and I would leave them sitting in a bowl for a little while, and don't even try to saute them or whatever you're going to do until they've set for about 10 or 15 minutes. Give them a chance for all those enzyme activity to light itself up. Then as soon as you're done, squirt it with your lemon juice. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there because I know that there's people that might be having a few issues with that. So that is one of your options, and it's the easy one. And you can also try all the different greens, but a lot of the greens are that kind, like chard, kale, spinach. There's actually quite a few of them. You could Google. There's a list. I mean, there's a list. So if you're having trouble with the major dark leafy greens, that is an option. And there's probably other options too. But that's just, to me, those are your best options. You can go ahead and look for your own. So a couple other little things that I wanted to bring up while we're talking about, things that are good and things that are bad. Like a lot of people are asking me, do I have to have the half of avocado a day? No, you don't have to have anything. You don't have to eat anything you don't want to. We're adults here, right? I mean, come on now. You don't have to do it. I think there's value in eating the half of a small avocado a day. I think our bodies need a certain amount of a really healthy fat to absorb certain vitamins that are mandatory, especially critical in this day and age with COVID and stuff like that out there, right? And I will tell you that I have been exposed to COVID several times since December, and recently really closely exposed, right? And I have not caught it yet, and I think that has to do with the fact that, yes, I've had my shots and stuff, but I think it's also to do with the fact that I eat so well, and I take really good supplements and stuff, and I really believe that that's protecting me right now. I mean, so some of the only ways you can take in certain vitamins like D and things like that are fat soluble. So you have to have a certain amount of healthy fats. And yes, I know that we have fat on our body and we're trying to shed fat. I have said that all along. I've said the reason I don't eat a lot of fat is because I'm carrying a lot of fat and I'm trying to get rid of it. But when I started adding the half of a small avocado, I'm not talking a huge bunch of avocado. It's a half of a baby avocado. And when I started adding that to my diet, it seemed like my weight loss sped up. And when I added it with the greens and the lemon juice, again, it was easier and my mental state was better and healthier. And I'm still in the state. I want you guys to hear me say this. This is January 25th of 2022, and I'm still in the state of ease with food. I mean, seriously, could care less. When it's my eating time, I eat, and then I'm done, and I'm just off doing other stuff. I'm living life like a person that does not have a food addiction anymore. That's weird. That's weird to even say that. All of our life we've heard addictions don't go away. You don't outgrow your addictions or whatever. The addiction's always there, and you just always have to be aware of it. Now I quit smoking almost 14 years ago. Yeah, something like that. I never think about smoking. I don't even remember what it was like to be a smoker. I don't have urges to smoke. I really can't remember what it was like very well, and that's kind of weird. But it just started. It fades away after a while. That's kind of how I feel like this food thing should do. I feel like after a while, it should be such a second nature for us to eat this way we're eating now, the way we're living, and that should become second nature to the point where we don't think about it anymore. I don't miss things. I'm not sitting here going, oh well, yeah, I'm getting thinner, but I sure would like to have a donut, or I sure wish I could have a candy bar. I don't miss things because something to do with the power of the chopped greens with the lemon juice does something to us to where we're not craving, we're not wanting, we're not needing, we're not dwelling, we're not thinking, we're not sitting around mooning or daydreaming about the things we used to eat or things we wish we could eat or the things we're going to eat. We're not doing that anymore. And I don't know how to convince you guys that it's the greens. I don't know how else. There's no way I can prove it to you because you have to do it yourself. The only way you're ever going to know if the greens will work for you is if you do it yourself. You have to do this to yourself. Okay? I can't come to your home and force feed you, and I can't do it through osmosis. The only way you will know if this is the magic bullet for you is to do it yourself. And here's the funny thing about this. This is not just a vegan thing. I mean, a lot of people, yes, I'm vegan, but this is not just a vegan thing. This thing I think would work for anybody. I've got a few people doing it that aren't vegans right now, and last night they just called for directions. I mean, there's people that are doing this. Just add the leafy dark greens into your diet, cooked or raw, however you want to do it. Make sure they're chopped. Put the lemon juice on them, and eat a bunch of other green vegetables along with your proteins and stuff. And then if you're still hungry after you've ate all those vegetables and greens, and you're still hungry after you've ate your protein and stuff, then eat whatever the next thing is that you want to eat. I don't get to control that for you. That's yours to control. That's yours. Because after you do this long enough, you're going to find out that you don't really want anything by the time you're done with the protein. And sometimes you may not even finish all the dang protein. But you're still going to be healthy. You're still going to have great blood work because I have perfect blood work. And I believe that you're going to have good blood work like mine is. So, all I can tell you is just, you got to try it, right? You just got to try it for yourself. I will say that nothing beats living the life of someone who doesn't dwell and focus on food all the time. For all of you out there that were addicted the way I was addicted, I wasn't just like addicted to food and only thought about food a few times a day. I thought about food from the time I woke up in the morning until I went to bed at night. I never stopped thinking about food. I never stopped thinking about what the next meal was going to be, what the last meal just was, what was I going to eat next, what my snacks were going to be, what my dinner several hours later was going to be, what would I eat before I went to bed. I mean, and when I went to bed at nighttime, I laid in bed and how I got myself to sleep was dreaming about all the food I was going to eat the next day. Oh, seriously, you guys, you don't even understand. It's like, how did I have time for any kind of life? Because we could be going somewhere like to a picnic or more food, or to the movies. Again, more food. We could be going somewhere, and my mind would be on the food. On the food. What were we going to eat there? Oh, yeah. Yeah, now, let me tell you that this life right now is so different from that I'm like, at first, it was like I had so much space in my brain. Does that make sense to you guys? There was all this new space that opened up. When I quit smoking, I had new time. I had like 3 or 4 hours of extra time a day. Nowadays, I'm so busy that I don't know where I fit in smoking because my hours are full. But when I first stopped thinking about food all the time, it opened up space in my head. And I've always said that you never wanted to be in my mind because zing, 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 it's like going a million miles an hour, right? If you would have been in my mind 6 months ago, it was still pretty focused on food. If you'd been in my mind a year ago, you'd be like, holy shit, this girl's got a problem because it was all focused on food. If you were in my mind today, believe it or not, I have so many different thoughts. So many different thoughts. I mean, and it's so much fun. I'm thinking about quilting. Okay, don't even ask where that came from, but I'm thinking about hobbies. I'm thinking about my artwork. I'm thinking about different kind of groups that, to be involved with. I'm thinking about some volunteer activities. My world got bigger. My mind got bigger. Things opened up in a way that I can't really explain it exactly. But if you do this, you're going to find out, if you're willing to take the bull by the horn or whatever. And what do you got to lose? Except maybe a few pounds or maybe some bad health or maybe some inflammation. And that's another thing about this is that eating greens with the oxalates in them, can cause people to have worse inflammation, which is another reason that sauteing your greens would be better for you if that's an issue for you. So if you have a lot of inflammation, if you have a lot of joint pain, if that's already a problem beforehand and you know that's a problem, you might want to consider cooking your greens right off the top. Okay. For me, I don't have that problem. I can eat them raw, but you know what? If I start having a little bit of tummy trouble, then I'll eat them. Then I'll eat them cooked for a day or two, and then I can go back to raw because I can usually eat them raw because I eat the baby kale, the baby spinach, and the baby arugula, and those three things seem to work really well for me. That's my greens. I do eat chard, and I do throw dragon, or what's it called? Is it called dragon kale? Dinosaur kale. Anyway, I do throw different things like that in there and stuff, but I still those three baby ones. Those are my main ones. So, all right. So that's really all I want to talk about was the oxalates and making sure you steam or saute your greens if you need to. Make sure you pay attention to what your body needs for you to do, and just to let you know that living this new lifestyle is worth it. So it's worth giving this a try so that you can see if you want to live this lifestyle. Okay. All right. Ciao.